Shalom.
Shalom,
Shalom.
We get the Israelites from the camp GMS Cleveland. And before we get started, we'll give all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH.
double honor to the apostle. Double honor to the apostle that was the great millstone who do well, and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect that preach the truth sincerely across the four corners of the earth. And this is another live stream, a lesson, Shabbat Shalom. You know, the Sabbath just came in, you know, and we came together to do what we do best, man. And that's the prophesy, man. Prophesy the downfall and the destruction of this place, Babylon the Great, you know, which is known as America to the world, man. You know, so brothers had articles and scriptures. So
yeah. The brother actually said in the group meet earlier, all right, the eruptions of violent protests in Thessalonica, all right, out there in Greece, man. You know, when there was just the spirit that, you know, you got a lot of turmoil. Somebody looked that word up on the Bible, this group. You know, you got a lot of turmoil and uproars of people in different, you know, places of the world, man. All right, the Lord is saving the best for last because very soon you're going to have America turning up as well. You know, uproars of the people, okay, like you got in China as well, and all for different reasons. Hey, get Luke, before y'all get the other preachers like that, get Luke 12 and 51. Follow for sure, because that's a prophecy as well that the Lord said was going to happen in the time that we live in. All right, and if you got the definition, bring that out first. If one of y'all got the definition, Bible chat, bring it out.
This is the Google definition for turmoil. It says a state of great disturbance, confusion, or uncertainty.
Well, no, that sounds like the scripture. Luke, the 21st chapter, right? The scriptures we was going into Shemaria the other day, right around the 20th verse, man, about there being perplexity and, you know what I'm saying, confusion and whatnot, man. All right, y'all got it. Get that scripture you got.
This is Luke chapter 12, verse 51. Suppose ye that I came to give peace on earth, I take nay for rather division.
Exactly, man. All right, so you don't see peace right now. You see clashes. All right, this is the one I was quoting first. Protests against police violence turned in Thessalonica. All right, and it says hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Thessalonica to mark the 14th anniversary of the killing of a 15-year-old by police. So for different purposes and reasons, you got people taking, you know, to the streets voicing their opinion. All right, like the scripture said in Proverbs, the 29th chapter, all right, about their, what is it, 29 and 2? How does it paraphrase?
righteous are the authority.
Righteous are the authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear fruit, the people mourn. All right, and then you got signs of mourning all throughout the world. All right, because the wicked are bearing fruit. See? So what else should I have?
I was gonna say too, best believe it's Israelites over there because you know Thessalonica was a church that Paul would write to. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
a church that we established. It's one of the churches of Galatia, the seven churches of Galatia. We have Galatia, we have the church, you know, Romans, Philippi, you know, Philippians, you know. So that was one of the churches just to back you up.
Yeah, I was just making a mention that it's Israelites over there. So if you got uproars going on, that's concerning prophecy. Letting you know that Israelites is a part of prophecy.
Yeah,
So,
right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so you either got Israelites involved in that protest or involved somewhat in that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Right. It's Israelites involved somewhere in it.
Right, yeah, you're right. Because you got the Israelite foreigners. They scattered because of and just furthermore, the Israelites are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. That's why when we read the prophecy in 2 Ezra 16 chapter, I brought that out in the lesson last night or earlier. It was last night about the scripture talk about in every place and in the next city. It said in every place. Because Jacob's trouble going to take place throughout the four corners of the earth. Why? Because the Israelites are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. You know, so in every place, so Thessalonica, all those ancient churches, whether it be Corinth, right? Whether it be Philippi, whether it be Galatia, right? You know, the point is that it's going to be it is going to be held in all these different locations, right? So, go ahead.
What y'all got? Just to read the headline. It's on Press TV. It says thousands of Italians protest high cost of living and weapon sales to Ukraine. So, you know, because when you go into second Ezra, the ninth chapter, I don't know if you got that or not. It tells you that's going to be upwards of you got it.
Right. Yeah. So you can read that.
This is wait, you said Luke 9?
Second Ezra.
Second Ezra 9? All right, come on. This second Ezra chapter 9. I'm gonna start. You said start verse 4. Verse 1. Come. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Now, how does one measure the time diligently in itself? According to what measuring stick? You know, you gotta use the scripture. You see what I'm saying? That's how you measure the time diligently in itself. You gotta give diligence. You see, you gotta be studying the point of life. Okay, looking for the prophecies, looking for the signs, looking at the articles, and correlating with the prophecies to see what time that we heading into. You know, the time is peril, the time is dangerous, man. All right, we were speaking off camera about all the different signs that's showing that this is the end, man. Esau being exposed. They about to outsource the dollar bill. All right, you got wars and ruins of wars, uproars of the people that we're speaking about now. Okay, and more. Israel waking up. Okay, and more. So the point being, that's what you use. You got to use the scripture, all right, to measure the time diligently. And like the brother just read, you know, is that you know that the Lord about to visit this world which he made. All right, you see all these different signs. These are the signs that the Lord said was going to happen in the last days. You got it?
If I understand that, it's a lot. That's why Revelation 11 talks about, you know, that's usually like you know, the third temple being built. You know, it's a precise number of 144,000 prophets, and you know, prophesied and do that in Syrian truth. And then 1/3 of the population will be righteous. And then, like it says in Isaiah, like you said, none of these shall want to make. You know, none of these other books is coming through the spirit of prophecy. You know, and that's what separates this from the bullshit doctrine. This would set us apart from the false passages mentioned in Jeremiah 3rd chapter. Bro, scriptures come to light from the prophet.
Yeah, they've made manifest. So keep going about this chapter in second Ezra.
Second Ezra chapter
I
9,
think it's going to say that.
verse 2. Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same thing, the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
So that's part of the things that we want to look for. Is the earthquakes and upwards of people. And the brothers been speaking on, like you got Thessalonica, you got upwards going on over there. You got, as I just read an article, thousands of Italians protesting. So these is upwards of people, and there's many other places. Like I think it was Moscow. They was having uproars over the World Cup thing. So these things were spoken of. These things were prophesied.
That was going on in China as well.
Cotton Schwab, he said that China is a role model for many nations. Meaning the draconian things you see happening over there, because they running inside people's houses and grabbing them up to take them to a camp. You're gonna see that take place in many other countries, mainly here in Babylon the Great. And it's gonna be with great violence, okay? Because they're gonna be using weapons. They're not using weapons over there in China. No.
I looked up this word uproar in the etymology dictionary. It says an outbreak of disorder. And that's what you got. You got a civil unrest, outbreak of disorder. You got revolt, right? Because the scripture speaks about that. Sedition amongst men. You got revolt, you got commotion, all right, a riot. And you see that, man.
I was going to say too, Esau the way you ran America in this society, you have people in that do without will spirit. So not everybody is for that in that think for myself type of spirit. I can say what I want to because that's my American God given right, so to speak. So everybody's now in that spirit to where, I can basically do whatever the fuck I want to do because that's what America pushes out. So when Esau come down with these draconian laws, and then you got all these people, even Edomites, rebelling against it, you can only blame yourself, Esau, because you didn't sit up there and train these people to do whatever the hell they want to do, worship whatever they want to worship, believe whatever you want to believe. And now these people is walking in that way. But now Esau, he's about to come down with do what I do what I believe, worship who I worship, or is death. So these people are going to rebel. So you're going to have more uproars like that. Then they're going to be more intense. And there's going to be more people involved. First and foremost, it's going to be more Israelites involved. Because the Israelites is going to be the first people to rebel.
Well, really, it's going to be Edomites. They're the ones who are going to rebel because they're the ones who believe in the Constitution. They're the ones who believe that rights have been infringed upon. You know what I'm saying? That's why the scripture talk about insurrection, right? Insurrection is basically rebellion against, rebellion or revolt against the authoritarian or authority. The Edomites, they're going to be the main ones, right? Because they're the ones who, in their mind, they got it in their mind that they live like niggas. You know what I'm saying? They already got it in their mind. They believe in the Constitution. They believe in freedom to speak. They believe in freedom to choose. You know what I'm saying?
They have rights.
Mm-hmm.
Rights are being stripped from. All right, so that's another reason why they actually believe in it. So, yeah, man, the future is very bright. That's what we need. Keep going in that second. What you got?
This
You got it. I was bringing that. Well, you're bringing that up too. That's one exactly what we're talking about.
Right, because when you look at tense times of history, right, like in particular, I'll make mention of an event that recently just took place in history, right? When you look at 2016 or whatever it was, that Charleston, Virginia, right? When the Edomites was walking through the campus with the pitchforks and shit, they were saying what? Jews will not replace us. That's what one Edomite crashed the Charlotte and killed some motherfuckers. So those are one. They the ones because when you look at like documents like Project Megiddo, right? The main offender that they got at the top of the list is KKK. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because like the elders, in particular, Elder Malcolm, make a mention about how you got the so-called Jews against the Christians, the Edomite Christians against the Edomite Jews that believe in the Talmud. You know what I'm saying? So those are the main ones because they the ones who gonna be rebelling first, man. Because we know niggas is completely subdued. They 2/3 of our people, they don't go fight against the devil, bro.
You're right, because they so used to being suppressed in that way. Because Esau always do that. He take away shit from you.
Yeah.
Concerning Jake. So right. Jake is used to that. Jake is used to being without having to, jump through fucking hoops, and have to go the extra mile just to make ends meet. Yeah, Jake right. Used to that shit, man.
And the scripture says that it says the Egyptian shall be against the Egyptian. And that's one of the prophecies that the brother mentioned in Matthew 24th chapter, right? It's talking about a nation against nation. Right. See, it's gonna be because like the saying goes, right? History repeats itself. We go throughout all the wars that took place. I'm gonna say that. I'm talking about post-Israelites, right? After the Israelites. The main wars and conflict, and even during the Israelites. Wars. That's the point.
Because I was going to say that the so-called Jews and the Edomite Christians, they even went to war back in when people was on the other side of the world. After Jake was on authority, you had the Christians going to war with the so-called
Right, yeah, because when you go into like the Roman Empire, you know what I'm saying? We go into the Roman Empire, you go into the seasons, like I'm gonna see for 12,
12, yeah.
the 12 seasons, when they go into it, like you had the year four seasons or something like that, it was all Edomites. Galvo, Ortho, I forget the other fucking devils, but just using that as an example, they was all, they backstabbed. That's what Edomites do.
Right, and they all killed each other. That's the thing. They all killed each other to be next in power, and that's what Esau is. He literally lusts after power and having gain and having the most of everything and being in charge of everybody and shit.
Hey, that's spiritual, right? Because when you watch the show Game of Thrones, it was all Edomites. You had the fucking the Lannisters, they was Edomites. You had the Starks, they was Edomites. You had the Tullys, the Wildleys, yeah, but all fucking Edomites. You know what I'm saying? So,
Why ain't the white bitch made them one motherfuckers and shit? Come on.
oh, you talking about the red witch? That bitch? Who you talking about?
So the one the white bitch created the one.
Oh, the White Walkers?
Yeah.
Oh, the White Walkers, yeah, that little elf bitch, yeah. But the point is, man. Yeah, it was one of the elves and shit. The point is, man, these Edomites, and that's beautiful, you know why? Because that's prophetic, right? And that's how we know that this kingdom is happening. Right? Mark the 3rd chapter, he forward to that. Yahawashi was speaking to Israel about wicked niggas who was coming against wicked niggas. You know what I'm saying? Satan. You know what I'm saying? Right. Come against Satan. Go ahead, brother. It's finished.
It's Matthew chapter 12, start verse 25. It says, and Yahawashi knew the thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation.
There it is. And that's the time period that we're getting in this story. Right? You know what I'm saying? We go into the word desolate, it means without an inhabitant, because that's ultimately going to be the future of you Edomites. It's going to be without an inhabitant. That's why we read Obadiah and talk about we're going to possess Edom. We're going to possess the land. They're going to get done away with this shit. You know what I'm saying?
It says, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan.
Oh, well, read that part against about the city.
It says, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Right, and to identify Edom as a city, right? Give me Psalm 60th chapter. I think it is Psalm 60 and 11, where our forefather King David, he petitioned, he said, who will lead me into the city? And who will lead me into Edom? So that city, you Edomites, right? There's a people before it's a place, man. Just like Jerusalem. You got it?
Yeah. This is Psalm 60 and start at 8. Moab is my washpot. Over Edom will I cast out my shoe. Philistia triumphed out because of me. Who will bring me into the strong city?
Who will bring me into the strong city, right? And it's gonna identify who the strong city is referred to, man. That's why the brothers just read in Matthew, where you at? Matthew 12. Right, what it say again?
And every city or house divided against itself shall not stand.
Go ahead.
Psalm 69. Who will bring me into the strong city? Who will lead me into Edom?
There you go, man. Yo, so that's the scripture identifying Edom as a city, which is talking about the people, right? You know?
Right. It says strong city, right?
Oh yeah.
Because the Lord blessed Esau with the blessing of the sword. That's how he got the fatness of the earth. So you see this devil, he living it up, right? He got everything that you could possibly desire. He's got every nation so-called in subjection, you know, but now these nations is rising up against him. Is that not another prophecy that would take place to let us know what time period we're in? Going back into measuring the times, right? Diligently.
Yeah, because like you mentioned, his blessing. This is the only time in history where anyone has ruled the entire world. You know what I'm saying? Like Esau governs the whole entire globe because the Western Hemisphere wasn't inhabited for a period of time before the kingdom came over. So that's another indicator of who's actually ruling, okay, in the system, man.
That's the spirit, because that's how you know that this snake who was once in the garden has turned into a whole fucking dragon, a beast.
And
Right.
that's another, if I can add to your point, because when you go into the etymology of a dragon, I mean, a serpent, what is it? The etymology of dragon, it says a huge serpent.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just a huge serpent transformed into a greater version of itself.
And also further on, when you go into the word dragon, it goes into violent, combative, very strict person.
Which
You know?
which links up with Draco. That, you know, he was a
Yeah.
Indian law subscriber. He
Mhm.
was writing those draconian measures and pushing those harsh laws on the people, man. Getting penalized for the smallest things, man.
And that nigga probably still here today.
Well, he gotta be.
More than like,
Yeah, because that's what everybody
Reincarnation.
yeah. And so that's how you know those same things are going to be issued out today.
Yeah.
Them laws that Esau got that's going to be deemed draconian, it's already in order. It's already in place. You know what I'm saying? Before those laws actually become issued out, they have to be passed. It's a whole process with that shit.
Hey, if I could chime in and say, we was speaking about the robots that Esau was going to use to, you see, these are all the different tools and methods that the Lord got set up and stored to make this place easy. That's why the scripture say, keep Matthew 24:20, about this being the great tribulation. You know what I'm saying? Because what? This time that's getting ready to come upon this place will be like never seen before. All right. And like you mentioned, they got to pass that in the legislation first before they can actually, initiate it. Right. And so a lot of this stuff is already on the books. All right. It's only a matter of time, and soon they're about to bring it to fruition. So if you got that Bible shall bring out real quick.
Matthew 24:21. Then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor never shall be.
Right. And I want to actually look this word tribulation up. It says in the etymology dictionary, a state of affliction or oppression. Right? Right. Because they got robo dogs, they got the different ones like do like hardcore and shit, shoot on and never miss. It says, yeah, man, a state of affliction or oppression, suffering, distress. You see, this suffering and distress that's coming on earth is gonna be in magnitude like you've never seen before. Jake thought they had it bad before, the struggle and poverty and so on and so forth. Hey man, a lot of people about to starve them.
Yeah,
You
bro.
see, that's about to be a future, a reality. A lot of people not gonna, have your daily bread like you got right now.
A lot of people resorting to eating pet food for the inflation right now.
Man,
People is getting
I didn't say think how bad that is.
I mean, it really ain't really boiled out because the pet food is basically like the same quality in food that we eat every day. Like pet food, like for instance, like you would see a stray cat, right? You would get a can of tuna.
Yeah.
That's fucking pet food, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The same fucking shit,
Bro, no, so like,
no, you good.
that's what you said that though, because I was at my job and it was a fucking box of fucking dog bites, just open next to the driver's seat, and I was wondering like, that one is eating this shit.
Well, that's the thing, man. That's showing you the signs of the times. All right, the signs of the times is harsh. You see, rough times is ahead now. Second Educated 50 come to mind. Last days, perilous times shall come. You see, and so like the brother said, a lot of people they can't keep up with inflation. Jobs are lost. A lot of people getting laid off.
Yeah.
That's just adding to the hardship, man. Going back into the state of oppression or tribulation, as the brother's reading about in Matthew the 24th chapter. All right, distress, trouble, affliction. Okay, to press, right? You're being pressed on all sides, man. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, hey, you got individuals resorting to suicide, man. These are all, signs of the times that we live in. It's only gonna get worse. The straight path only gonna get straighter for us as well. So you gotta get built up in your HALALYAM. Go ahead.
The righteous on some strict thing.
Yeah, that's right, man. Because we gonna be tried too.
Right.
See, that's one thing that we hear at GMS is talking and trying to forewarn our people about is to, arm yourself likewise with the same mind because we getting ready to head into perilous times ourselves, man. You see, some of these other camps not forewarning you of Jacob's trouble and the things that's getting ready to come down the pipe. All of what you see and we talking about in Thessalonica and China and all these other places, you know, there be skirmishes all over the place, man. All right. That's soon gonna make its way to the soils of America. And when it does, it's gonna be the worst, you see. It's gonna be the most dramatic, the most climatic, the most tribulous, if you will.
Right, because a lot of those things you just named are happening literally around America. America is the city without walls, man. It's going, you know what I'm saying? So it has no. So eventually it's going to overpour into America. It's like inevitable, bro. You know what I'm saying? Even if you wasn't into prophecies and to news, it's clear that it's going to actually overpour into this landmass, man.
That's the spirit you said that though, because well, both of y'all said that because like I was just telling this brother on the phone earlier, where he died on me, you know, type of shit. But I was telling the brother on the phone, basically when the pandemic first happened, motherfuckers was scared as fuck, like everybody was scared, looking for answers, wanted to meet up with people, wanted to go outside, do this. Basically, the mindset people got now and how people acting now, it was not like that during the pandemic. And it's gonna come back to that, but it's gonna be on a higher level.
That's why it's important to stay tapped into the spirit and the message of Tom Dillon, like I said, take extra mind to quote the elders in Mississippi. You know, a lot of you can't shy away from the broccoli, from the vegetables, from the important things of the scripture. You know, he's talking about the elders and apostles was getting on these camps. And they only prophesy the good news, like, oh, since you weren't baptized, you wearing your dress, but that shit don't mean nothing. Not saying it's not important, but like compared to, you know, them same spirits who ate their child in this type of time, same spirit that had you kill your neighbor for a loaf of bread, like
Yeah.
coming into.
Yeah, and Yahawashi told that to the wicked scribes and Pharisees. He talked about you put away the weightier matters of the law. Roughly paraphrase, you talk about you traditionally fought, but you put aside the weightier matters of the law. So that's basically going into what Brother Layas is going into, man. So that's what these other camps do. They put aside the weightier matters of the law. Like for instance, with the chapter of Zariah, they can look at niggas to Hassan that whole debauchery. You know what I'm saying?
Let me get that for you. It's in Matthew 23 and 23 and 23. It says, woe unto you scribes and Pharisees.
You're right, death and destruction. That's what the adversity and affliction, because that's what's going to come upon these wicked scribes and Pharisees that are reincarnated in this day and time, man. Because you had righteous scribes and Pharisees. All the scribes and Pharisees, they was wicked, man. You know what I'm saying? You had the wicked ones and then you had the righteous ones. So to the righteous ones, that's what the Lord Yahawashi was saying. Death, destruction to you niggas. Affliction and adversity to you niggas. Right?
Yep, it says hypocrites.
Yeah, hypocrites. Yep, but these niggas are good actors, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It made me think these niggas went to fucking theater school or something. Man.
Yeah.
Like these niggas is real actors, bro. I don't know these niggas live. Niggas is cops. Hold on, niggas is cops and detectives and all type of shit. I don't know niggas. I don't know niggas that live, man. Niggas could have went to school for acting type shit. Like real talk, bro. Real talk.
And that make you think a lot of them took that bag, that Judas person. Because yeah, man, they I sent the video on the group me of the elder waters of GMS RAWCHAA Foundation too. He put up a lesson going to the same topic that the brother was mentioning and how these guys came on to not speak on the, like you said, the important matters of weightier matters as we're going into now. So it says Matthew 23, they call it pirates, man. And when you watch that lesson, I put it in the chat for brothers. When you watch that lesson, you're gonna see exactly what this scripture is talking about. The brother going into Matthew 23 and 23 again. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint and of anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone.
There you go, man. So that's what you niggas should be focusing on.
Hey,
I was the ones that the brother mentioned after what they was offering, man. Like faith and so on and so forth. That's why the apostles say that. We're faith. You know what I'm saying? But you know who's been saying that recently? The nigga Shalaki. The YAHWAH. even the apostle was talking about that. He was saying that recently about because you know they've been in the headlines. They've been in the mainstream media lately.
Yeah.
So that's their rebuttal to niggas in the world. When it comes to the apostles, they crazy.
Yeah.
But with niggas in the world, yeah, we were faith-based organization type shit.
I went into the word admitted, right? It said he admitted the weightier matters.
Right. Like that shit is irrelevant.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean omitted is like, because Yahawashi even talked about how I think it's in Matthew 19. I could be wrong, Salaki, if I'm wrong, but he was talking about how the sin that you receive, you will omit. But go ahead, remit.
That's the word.
Go ahead.
It says in the Greek, athene, it says to send away, neglect.
Right, like that's disregard. When you disregard something, it's irrelevant, nigga.
Yeah.
That's irrelevant, nigga. That's irrelevant, nigga. Faith, nigga. Don't worry about that. Are you paying tithes, nigga? You hear me? Or you got your boots? You got your boots, nigga. You wear your fringes on every t-shirt, nigga. Focus on that. The other way, man, is like, baby, like, nigga, don't worry.
Jacob's trouble.
Nigga, don't worry about the shit. Don't worry about the name, nigga.
Right.
You can say Yahawashai, Yahushua. Whatever you like.
And that's the truth, though. I mean, we joke about it, but that's the honest truth. And then the thing is, it's being sarcastic, if you will, but the thing is, it's serious because you got blood on your hands. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You got a lot of people, a lot of Israelites' blood on your hands, man. And it's gonna be looking to it. And that's what the elders, I was watching like 3 different lessons going into like similar topics earlier. The elder Malcolm, the elder Pastor, and the one the elder Waters are going into pretty much along the headlines of these camps is gonna start being dismantled. You know, the different, camps is gonna start being dismantled.
Well, like scripture talk about. Well, the scriptures don't say that, but how the saying goes, history repeats itself. When you go into Acts the 5th chapter, you go into Gamaliel and Judas of Galilee. Judas of Galilee, he was a Jake that started. It was a particular organization, like I ain't been over than a minute, but he was before the Zealots and shit like that. But using that as an example, you know what I'm saying? The scriptures got everything, man.
Correction, it was the Bishop of Tazwan of Atlanta. He had put up the video. We will witness the fall of a lot of Hebrew Israelite camps.
Right, he talked about he had theorists.
Yeah.
During Acts the 5th chapter, he talked about 400 perfect paraphrase. Brother know the precept, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just history repeating itself. Yeah. Those same individuals, Judas of Galilee, you go into the history of it. I believe he was the one who I want to say he was like the founder of the Zealots. I want to say that Judas of Galilee, the one that's mentioned in Acts the 5th chapter. You know what I'm saying? But bro, history gonna repeat itself. And they gonna be dismantled because the scripture said it, right? If it be not of the heavenly Father, it will come to God. If you ain't coming in the 100%, with the 100% truth in the spirit of Yahawashi outside, it's gonna come.
Let me get that. Acts 5 and I'm gonna start at 35. It says, "Say unto the men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what you intend to do with such."
Right. So this is Gamaliel. This is Paul Tudor speaking to niggas who was trying to come up against Peter, just like the apostle.
It says, "For before these days rose up Theodotus, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain. And all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught." And I remember speaking on the guy from the Impact, what's his name?
No fuck around, yeah.
That
Rap
guy,
nigga, DJ, I don't know if you got
Grandmaster
Yeah.
Flash or whatever.
Grandmaster J.
Grandmaster J, that's the name. He in jail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had a whole, he's trying to raise up in the arms, but that ain't how the Lord said that this devil's going to be took by him. You see what I'm saying? I'm just using that as an example. Trying to get Jacob in arms, and stuff like that.
They like shoot each other or some shit. Yeah, they
God knows.
they
God knows.
shot each other.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It says verse
Oh,
37.
it's cold. You mentioned him because he's the worst for the LGI too.
Yeah, that's a script. You know, a lot of these guys he raised up. This Acts 5:37 says, after this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of tax.
Yeah, Judas of Galilee in the days of taxes, right? Because it was a census. We go into the history of it. There was a census of Quirinius, right? It was a census of Judea taken by Publius Sulpicius, governor of Roman Syria, upon the imposition of direct Roman rule in 6 CE. So Judas of Galilee, he founded the Zealots because of that. Would you say in the day of what?
Yeah, it says in the days of tax.
In the days of taxing, because that's what it was. It was a census going on, but it was taxing all the Israelites, bro.
Yeah, that's the spirit of who are there so we can tax and charge all of it. You know, it's not going to the sun, man.
Right, and this history about Judas of Galilee is found in the Josephus, the Jewish antiquities. That's where I got the account from, because he was a historian. A lot of Jake say he was a sellout, but he was just a historian. He was just playing his, filling his position. Right. He wasn't no cool nigga and nothing like that. He just took account of the history, but that's who Judas of Galilee was. So you had 4 sects of Salah. You had 4 sects of Judaism.
Right.
You had the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and there was another one called the Essenes, and then the Zealots. They were the 4 sects of Judaism. They really fucking permeated. They was ruling shit during that time, bro. Those different beliefs. You had to be a Pharisee, Essenes, which I ain't gonna go into what they believed in. You had the Zealots, and then you had the who else I said? Yeah, right.
So this man, you said y'all mentioned that about the taxes though, because I seen that article from my phone basically saying how minimum wage, higher like the one to January 1st or whatever, but that just lets you know things are going up.
Right, and that's usually when Israel revolt. When the taxes is when you go into what is it, Luke the 2nd chapter, with Augustus Caesar. That's what it was, because you had what Claudius Caesar, he banished Jews from what Judea or Jerusalem, if you will, the provinces that was controlled by Rome.
Said Claudius?
No, Augustus.
Oh, okay.
Well, Claudius Caesar, he got rid of the Israelites that was preaching on the Rome. In Rome, right? But the point is, that's what Jake was rebelling for. That's what they was coming up against the government for, because of the inflation. Because if you see that, that's going on now. Right. Haiti, Jamaica, all that's going on with the inflation and shit like this. Jake, that's what Jake usually like. Hold on, man. That's when Jake started rising up and shit like that. So
we coming into them times again.
exactly, bro.
Cause Jake to rise up and rebel.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's exactly. Just like
China
going into kicking it off, man. You're gonna have that happening here on the soils of America. Why? Because people can't keep up with the cost of living, man.
And you got Israelites scattered in China, man. We read, I think it's Isaiah 15 chapter. We talk about Moab being a covert unto Israel, if you paraphrase it. So it's a lot of Israelites in China, bro. I seen videos like on YouTube with Jakes, bro. Them niggas speak straight Chinese. Them niggas don't speak, but you know that Jake, bro. Yeah, Jake through the spirit fro. He got the salt and all that, but he got Chinese motherfucker old ass grandma and the old ass granddad. He telling their ass what to do. He like, hey, doing this shit on whoop, bro. But Jake scattered in Israel. I mean, in China too, man.
I was about to say too, Shah, that we do the history on the Silk Road slave trade. Right, the Silk Road slave trade was a route that went through India, into China, and well, mainly into China, but then you have some scattered in Japan also. So this was just all culmination of the captivity that we were under. So that's how Jake was scattered throughout the 4 corners.
We built the Great Wall.
Yep.
That's right. Acts 5:37. After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished,
Yeah, because Judas of Galilee, he was a zealot. With the zealot, they were known for like being carnal and shit like that. So that's what Judas of Galilee was. He wanted to expel the Roman Empire out of Judea. He wanted to get rid of them niggas by physical force. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to physically rise up. He wanted to gather jakes together, everybody come together. Cause that was one of the avenues or beliefs of the zealots when they going to it. They used to be killing jakes that weren't with them. Right. Like they didn't want to come up against the Roman Empire, the Roman government. They used to kill niggas and take their land, kill Israelites, take their land, take their cattle and all that shit.
Yeah, it was a statement I was gonna say if it was more really come back to me, but it was exactly what you were saying about how pretty much they want to rise up. They're gonna take matters in their own hands, but that's not how the Lord got it set up. Right? So, for us to overcome this stuff. Right. We're gonna overcome by the word.
Right. That dude, what's his name?
Hassan Campbell.
Yeah, he had made a statement about like, well, he was on point for the most part when he was saying on that little portion. Then at the end of that statement, he was like, "Who gonna get us out of this? Like, how we gonna get out of this situation?" You know what I'm saying? So everybody is seeking, you know what I'm saying, a savior. You know what I'm saying? So the answers, you know what I'm saying? And we give you the answers, and which I'm not gonna speak on that, but Cesario should have gave them the answers, man. You know what I'm saying? He should have broken it down, should have been bringing up precepts and well, this is the answer, man.
Right.
Because we're not gonna be able to save ourselves.
No man shall redeem.
No man shall buy you. You know, buy you on Deuteronomy 28, man. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's gonna be able to save us but YAHWASHI, man.
Right, and that's some little precepts. Matthew 1:21, where he shall save his, and then you read Luke, was that the first chapter, when the father of John, Zechariah, he prophesied about the Lord saving us from our enemies. And even we go to the Old Testament, talk about a savior, man. So
it's like Lamentations, the 4th chapter says that Jacob looked for a nation that cannot save us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like brother on this, you know what I mean?
Acts 5:37. This man was of Judas Galilee. They attacked him, drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel of his work be of men, it will come to naught. And that's what the Lord is trying to let you know, that this isn't of men. You know, we following this truth. You know, but if you following after anything that's really of men, you know, the only thing the point only to say, it's gonna come to an end. It's gonna come to naught. It's gonna be nothing at all regarded by the heavenly love. It's gonna be dismantled. See, because the ultimate way how we're gonna overcome the devil once again is through YAHWASHI. Right?
Right, yep, that's right. So all these different organizations, which history showed you, right? Like we had these different quote unquote black liberators, if you will, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, fucking what's the other nigga name on Judas and the Black Messiah? What's his name? Huey P. Newton, all them niggas, man, the black Fred Hampton, that's his name. That's his name. Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton, they was all a part of Black Panther. But they show you that's an example of all them niggas, man. The Lord don't deal with that carnality, man.
Yeah, they all trying to force the Lord's hand, bro. That's what they realize in Sakari. They try to force prophecy to happen. Remember Judas Iscariot trying to force the Lord's hand. I was like, look, man. No, who else you just said? You said something like that.
The Black Panthers, you know what I'm saying? Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, all these different so-called black activists that came before the apostles and the elders, man.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. Right? And the Lord put them down, put them niggas down, man.
Exactly, bro. You blew that. He was gunning them niggas down. Malcolm X, he got gunned down. Martin Luther King got gunned down. Fred Hampton he was smoking all them niggas, bro. All them niggas died by the same type of, they all got shot up, bro. Because all them niggas,
what the Lord told Peter. He told him to put up again that sword. For whosoever take the sword shall perish by it. Let me finish this up real quick. You got Acts 5:39. But if you be up and out, BAHASHAM, you can overthrow it. That's happy you go down to even fight against the Lord. So you can't overthrow with the constantly playing out and manifesting. Okay.
Which I think the word happily, when you go into it, if I'm not mistaken, I think going into unintentional. Because these niggas pursuing to what? St. John the 16th chapter, they say everybody that kill you, but they do it to Heavenly Father's service. So these niggas is unintentional in their actions. Just like even with Paul, before he was Paul, he was Saul. He was killing and persecuting the church. You know what I'm saying? That was unintentionally. He thought he had the right, you know what I'm saying, the right breakdown, but
Yep, it's going to like whether perhaps this is no, somebody I was just trying to see
what it said, somebody.
it said like not perhaps not intentionally trying to see
Right, not intentionally, that's the point. That's why I said happily he be found fighting it. Because niggas don't intend to fight against the Heavenly Father. That ain't their intention. Especially Jake. They ain't intention. They want to be on the side of the Heavenly Father.
In the time of Moses, when James was like, let's talk to the Most High, man.
Yeah.
Most High scared their ass, and they was like, no, you got it. You know,
yeah, it's a by chance or accident.
Right, yeah, right. Because that's what they doing. Right. That's why even when you go into Acts the 7th chapter with Simon, or what was his name? Salakia? Stephen, who they killed, stoned to death. What he said to the Lord, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Because niggas don't know. They think that the intentions, what they do is right.
John 16:2.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, bring it up real quick.
That's the spirit.
Yeah, because man, they gonna be thinking that they doing the most on service. But in reality, you bucking up against them. That's why y'all gonna be shamefaced.
That's why the Heavenly Father told Paul, it's hard for you to kick against the pricks. Yeah, but you know, the Heavenly Father, he was a chosen vessel, Paul, but everybody else, they ain't gonna get it. Until the Lord want they as to get it. Like when the vessels come in and they hear all the prophecies and the brothers that they persecute themselves will have.
It said John 16, and I'll start at the top.
Yeah, right.
These things have I spoken unto you that ye should not be offended.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because many was going to be offended before these things came to pass. Verse 2, they shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh.
Right. Who's gonna put them out of the synagogue? Yahawashi was speaking to the disciples, right? You know, the apostles, right? The disciples who became apostles, right? And who's gonna put them out of the synagogues? Other niggas. The scribes and Pharisees.
Your own people.
Right. Because when you go back into that time period, wasn't no Edomites in the temple. Wasn't no heathens in the synagogue. You feel me? It wasn't no, it was all Jakes in the synagogue because the Lord was on the scene 2,000 plus years ago, right? Who was in a position of rulership? The Edomites, the Romans, right? The Edomites. Who was in a position of servitude? The Israelites. So who's the priest? It was Israelites, man. That the Lord was talking about that was going to do that shit, bro.
But Jerusalem was a vassal state to Rome.
Right, yeah, because you got two things. You got vassals and you got serfs. Yeah, that's right. And with the serfs, they the ones who I forget, bro. That's the spirit.
That's the serfs is the low level people.
The vassals is the ones who like they control certain land and like they're like a landlord. The serfs, exactly. Yeah, the serfs is under the land.
Yes. And that's why Jerusalem had to pay taxes to Rome because they were a vassal state.
Right, they couldn't even kill nobody unless they went to the Roman court.
Exactly.
Right, you know, like with Pilate, that's what they was telling them with Yahawashi, like, we can't kill him, we gotta come up through you to get the approval to kill him.
Because they were basically like Jerusalem was allowed to worship their gods, do whatever they do, as far as right. And just as it was in the Greek captivity with Alexander the Great. But you still had to pay them taxes, and at the end of the day, before any jurisdiction had to be carried out, you would have to take it up with the Romans, Esau, Edom, of course. And that's how it was.
You know, saying he could inspired to shot. They couldn't say so.
And it's like that in this kingdom, this kingdom, you gotta go through Esau's court system to do anything.
You gotta get permission. You gotta know you're a slave. You gotta get permission from
Exactly.
them.
That's what I'm saying.
Say that, that's what I'm saying.
Like he said all the time, we have sovereignty here.
Right. Yeah, we do say. I got a precept. That's all that. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 8, verse 13. It says, sanctify the Lord of hosts himself, and let him be your fear, and let him be your dread. And he shall be for a sanctuary, right? Because that's where our sanctuary is. That's our place of praise. That's our place of shelter. That's our place of refuge. You know, Yahawah, why YAHAWASHI. That's why we call him that name. Yahawah being the Heavenly Father, and YAHAWASHI being the deliverer. Who's going to deliver us out of this captivity? It says, verse 14, he shall be for a sanctuary.
Yeah, because that's going to be the only covering that we have in that time.
Exactly.
Nothing else will work. We didn't try it all already.
Exactly.
We've done it all. We protested. We cried out to the Black Lives Matter. We pleaded with our We pleaded with our family and our friends. You know what I'm saying? We've done everything, man. Besides call upon the true power, put you in the condition that you're in. And that's why scripture I had earlier, but Isaiah 33:14, fear from this surprise for hypocrites, and to the sinners in Zion, let me paraphrase. You know what I'm saying? So why? Because they don't have the covenant of the Lord in that time. You know what I'm saying? That like you just mentioned, bro. You got it.
Yeah.
Can I get a question about I want can somebody get Jeremiah 50? 46, but you can start from the top for real. Just add to what you're saying, because when you go into that, you said sanctuary. The Lord's our sanctuary. I did a quick look up on it, and it says a building set apart for holy worship, right? A holy thing, right? Yeah, because the point is verse 6 when you read Jeremiah 50, but you can start at the top just to get a bit of a backstory. All right, because yeah, man, the Lord is pretty essentially our resting, our safety. Proverbs 18:10. Okay, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous one is safe. All right, so that's our sanctuary. Trust him. But if somebody's got that Bible shop, just start.
He said strong. That tower, like if it's a storm outside, you run into the building, you take shelter. That's that strong tower that can stand against the weather, the elements. That's why the come.
This on Jeremiah 50:1, it says the word of the Lord spake against Babylon, against the men of the Chaldeans, by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare ye among the nations, and publish, and set up a standard, publish and conceal not.
Right, we set up a standard. Isaiah the 13th chapter. Right, raising up that banner, right? Right, yeah, that's the standard. It said publish and conceal not. You go into the word publish, it means make public. So that's what we're doing. We make it public prophecies of the Holy Scriptures, right? Because this is secret. The Heavenly Father referred to this as a secret. He said he was building the secret until he served the prophet. So, I mean, the Lord said that, which we learned on the rooftop. I mean, you hear, I forget which one, but it was the house I preaching on. That's the what? That's what you hear in darkness, that saying to preach from. So that's right. The secret that the Heavenly Father informed us with, we supposed to tell the rest of the people. All right, that's what we're doing. We publish it. We conceal not. Conceal means to hide. That's why you got a CCW. A concealed carry weapon means you can hide your weapon and still carry. So conceal means to hide. So we ain't supposed to hide his truth, man. Right, because the Lord talked about, and we read what Luke the 19th chapter about the one that put it in the napkin. Right. He gave him the talent, detail. They be telling us, I can't be telling people this. He had it. He had that motherfucker. And you see what the latter end of that serpent fell. Right. The Lord took all that he had, man, and gave it to that good and faithful servant. He also destroyed him. Right. Yeah. He cast it out of darkness. Right, exactly, bro. And you ain't increased the Lord's money. You ain't trade talents. Because that's why the Lord said, I could have got this by using that. Out, man. I put interest on that motherfucker and telling me, you know what I'm saying? That's what usually is. Interest. I could have gave this and put interest on that motherfucker and got it back. You out here. Hey, not trying to downplay the Lord. That shit sound like a pimp. Now you know Jay Lizzo like, bro. You like, bitch, you got my money.
No, because it's a business. It's a business. So you gotta increase the business, bro.
Yeah, it's business. It ain't personal, man. Niggas say that all the time. I gotta take that business. It ain't personal.
Everything dealing with the Lord is business. From your relationship with your woman, that's a business, bro. You know what I'm saying? The relationship with the Lord, that's a business. It's an occupation, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta increase it. What happens in business when it don't increase? They motherfucking close down.
Exactly. You don't want to mismanage the household.
That's it, man.
Yeah, say the gospel be committed to us.
That's it.
And keep going where you at, Bible Shop. Keep going where you at. Let's say and declare. And say Babylon is broken. So it said Babylon is taken. Baal is confounded. Mordecai is broken in pieces.
Which these ancient idols of Babylon. Go ahead.
Because this place is also running off witchcraft. You know, you saw losing that witchcraft as we get close to the end. This shit ain't working no more.
Right, that's why he's gonna have to resort to the sword. Because the enchantments and the sorcery, that shit ain't gonna be working no more. And then furthermore, you're gonna have the shortages of, because Esau, he ruled, right? He ruled like what? Through pharmakia. Exactly. The scripture talk about it. He ruled through pharmaceuticals and had people drugged out and fucked up.
The Walking Dead.
Man, real talking, fucked up high all the time. Niggas ain't really thinking about shit logically, like right. Then when niggas ain't got those suppressants, you know what I'm saying? Where they can suppress their feelings and shit. Bro, exactly. Niggas go with you. Niggas start thinking then. Yeah, cause that's why you able to what's that shit called, to like sedate? No, when you stop doing something like with nicotine, you can damn, it's a word, it's a lock.
But that's why Kanye doing what he doing. That nigga having a look for that nigga bugging out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, it ain't rehabilitate. It like when you overcome some shit, but I ain't want to use that word overcome. Like when you got an addiction, but then you able to recover and you know what I'm saying, recover from the addiction though. So back shit. I was making a point, but y'all got it. Go ahead.
Merodach is broken in pieces, but idols are abounding, her image is broken in pieces.
That's the spirit, bro.
Those idols.
Hey, cause that's the spirit. One of the idols of Babylon was that the tower of that Nebuchadnezzar put up. It was like a 90-foot with the head of gold, the chest and the arms and shit of silver, the thighs, you know what I'm saying? Iron. You know, he said that shit was what, it was broken down. It broken into pieces, right? Because that's the prophecy of the rock or the stone carved without hand, smashed that shit, and all that shit, the gold, the silver, the iron, all that shit was, you know what I'm saying, swept away. It was all dust.
If I can say, because I mentioned the time of Babylon, because they know they have that right. Right. And so, man, it's all about to be destroyed. It's going to come to naught. Keep going. Sure. It say, for out of the north there cometh a nation against her. It say, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast.
Right, because this place ultimately is going to be uninhabited. Because there's a future prophecy about Babylon the Great. They say talk about ancient Babylon, right? Because if you know the history of ancient Babylon, it became a province of the Medo-Persian Empire. It wasn't no man or beast in there. So this talking about a future prophecy that's going to take place upon this place right here, man.
Yeah, it was surgically took it down, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was
Right.
surgical strike. It wasn't destroyed by fire. It's such.
But it's the Lord gave the prophecies to what the prophets knew in their time period.
Right.
You know, America was that was the thing in the Babylonian Empire. So you had the spirit of Babylon.
Right.
Babylon means confusion.
Exactly.
That's what this place is. It's straight confusion, man. That's right all around.
Right, because America didn't exist. You know what I'm saying? This place, it didn't exist according to the world. So you have to match it up with what they knew and what made sense according to the prophecy. So we can be able to relate it when we come back and read it. Like, oh, this is talking about this motherfucker right here.
Because that in itself lets you know that the Lord was showing the prophets different periods of time. Because they had to be translated to them. If you think the Lord was showing them the same time period that they was in, they wouldn't need a translator for the vision. Everything would be kind of pretty much clear. You know,
An interpreter.
an interpreter, the water, you know, because like you were just saying, for an example, John the Revelator, you know, when he was seeing America, he probably saw all type of things that we see today that we see as the norm now. But you know, he was probably seeing all type of things that was marveling as far as like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you got, hey, picture this in today's time, because the Lord said in Genesis 5:2, man, you can bring them together. Well, in this society, we got a multitude.
Exactly.
Being honest, he's seen these visions in the visions. Everything that you see taking place in Babylon, cars, technology, you know, different things as such, man, the woman contrasting the man, you know, so on and so forth, man. All of which this place promotes, the idols, the worshiping, all of this shit, man.
Yeah. Right. So you can see how the prophets they would be ill after a while, to the point where they were sick. The Lord told, you know, Ezra to eat herbs and actually to go on a fast to eat herbs. Because if you taking in all these revelations, it not only does something to your spirit, but it does something to you physically. Because these prophets actually saw themselves in these time periods. Right. And you have to think, even on a deeper level, YAHAWASHI, he knew what he would have to go through as far as him, you know, to the point where he started his ministry. Having that whole time period, knowing that you was going to have to die that type of death, you know, and you actually have to go through it for that hour. That's why YAHAWASHI, he had a heated moment with the Lord through his prayer, because that was his hour of temptation. So how much more we going through our hour of temptation? So we're like the body of YAHAWASHI, man. You know, it's going to be way more intense. That's why the Lord gave the elect power to do greater works than what he did. Because with the time period YAHAWASHI went through and the time period we're about to go through is totally two different things, man. This is way worse than with YAHAWASHI. You know, the time period of 70 AD. I'll say that. The time period of, you know,
Well, YAHWAH said that itself.
Mm-hmm.
You read the gospel, Matthew 24th chapter, right, 22nd verse, he said there should be no time. You know what I'm saying? So even YAHWAH know that. So the point that you make is scriptural. Man. You don't know what the time, like, what's about to take place and transpire and everything in that life. You know what I'm saying? Out of all the scenarios and situations that happen, right? Even because the main thing that people think about, bro, is slavery. That's the main thing they reflect on. They burn niggas to a crisp. You know what I'm saying? Putting niggas up on the tree and hanging niggas. See, this time it's gonna be far worse than the time of slavery, man. Because these devils, they got technology now. Right, which I'm gonna mention the ancient technology that the devils used as a torture device. When I heard about this shit, I said, "God damn, the pair of angles." Remember that shit, bro? I said, "Bro, you look up what the pair of angles is, brothers don't know. Look that shit up, bro." And it's an ancient torture method that he dealt with you. So how much more now with all the technology that he dealt with that, bro?
And that's just one of many, because it was multiple.
Right, and that's why we always mention a movie, the series Saw. What's the nigga name? Jigsaw and that nigga, bro. We always mention that shit. And then you'll have niggas like the Marlins, the Wayans brothers. They'll make a parody of this shit like it's a joke. These niggas really gonna be doing shit like this. Having niggas in the time thing, going to get the motherfucking the code right there, bitch, smash your head. Like, bro.
The scriptures say they spirit.
Yeah. Bro, listen, remember they had the thing where they were talking about they could twist the nigga head off with the machine. Yeah. Bro, niggas was like, what the fuck? They twist the nigga's head.
Oh yeah, you talking about the one machine?
Yeah,
like,
yes.
Bro, that's basically like a guillotine, but it's like
They twist the nigga head off like a piece of tissue.
they got the game, the VR shit, where if you lose in real life, you lose your life.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right. Just like the movie Belco Experiment. Yeah. You watch that movie Belco Experiment. They had to get the chip. It was like it was a fucking like a fucking game or whatever. But they got the chip, and then they just blow niggas' heads up whenever they want to, bro. This the type of shit that we saw got the jabber dabber dude that he got in niggas, and all he got to do is turn the Wi-Fi up, and then his clocks get bigger and suddenly dead. Niggas die suddenly, bro.
They had a video of that on Twitter.
Well, that's the new show that's on Netflix. On the line, suddenly. You know, the words you just said. Yeah. But on the line, suddenly. So Bahashan, finish up the last three verses. Bahashan, 4%.
It's verse 4. It's like those days.
Call it out.
Time. It's Jeremiah 50:4. It's like those days and in that time said the Lord, the children of Israel shall come. They and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their God. They shall ask.
And right now, you got Israel waking up. All right, you know, with everything going on in the news and the media, Israel is waking up. Some to their destruction, some to salvation. All right, they're going to seek their God.
They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to the Lord.
And that's the elect that's going to do that. Right. Now he said Judah and Israel, the southern and northern kingdom. And these Edomites know. That's why they have referred to us as Black Hebrew Israelites. Because they basically acknowledge and recognize the northern kingdom too, man. Because they know that we ain't the only ones doing it, the so-called blacks. And even if brothers look like so-called blacks, we identify as other tribes, brother. I myself, I identify as a Seminole Indian. So just because Jake look like a, you know what I'm saying, a so-called Negro, that don't mean he's from the tribe of Judah. You know?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Come and let us join ourselves to the Lord. Perpetual covenant.
And that's the only ones who are going to do that. The Lord said, gather my saints. They have made a sacrifice, roughly paraphrase, a covenant by sacrifice, right? So the only ones of Judah and Israel that is going to make the covenant, which is an agreement by sacrifice. What do you sacrifice? You sacrifice your mind. That's like you sacrifice your life. You sacrifice your time. And like the elder said, sacrifice and success go hand in hand. Yeah, they go hand in hand.
Real quick, Psalms 55, gather my saints together.
Yeah, who the saints? We know who the saints are. We repetitive. We gotta speak on it because there might be some new Jakes that's listening. The saints are the Israelites. Right? Goes to the Latin word santos, but in the Hebrews it's HAQADASH, which means holy and set apart. That's talking about the Lord's people.
Gather my saints together to be those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Right, yeah, by sacrifice, man. Right? Which the Hebrew word for sacrifice is what? Zabak. Right? And what are we sacrificing? We sacrifice our time. We sacrifice our life. We sacrifice our flesh. We sacrifice our family. We sacrifice our children. We sacrifice our women. You know what I'm saying?
See, yeah, because they have a false misconception that we don't necessarily love them. The thing is, we just love them less than we love the Lord. And the Lord requires a lot of our time is jealous power. So this is what's required of us, you know, in regards of trying to attain salvation. You have to put more time into serving Him and doing His work, His ministry, and less into fulfilling that role of being the best parent or the best brother, best son ever. You know what I'm saying?
HAWASHI said that in Matthew 19. That's the spirit.
But I was gonna say too, that's why Yahushua was a stumbling block. Because a lot of things that he would do and say, people would get offended at, not understanding the true essence of what was being told.
That's what that once that word offended. It was into stumbling block. YAHAWASHI said that I stumbling block too. So that means that nothing left from that point is death and destruction. Because you're offended at what actually gives you life and increase. So anything left is death.
All right, understand then in Yahushua time, when Yahushua was saying, you had a lot of people, like you had different accounts of people asking Yahushua about his mother, and every time he would change the topic to something else.
Yeah,
about the word for the
It
ministry.
is irrelevant. Niggas want to talk about everything but life. That's crazy. Good Lord.
This is Matthew chapter 12. I'm gonna start at verse 46. It's Matthew chapter 12, verse 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brother stood without, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brother stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who is my brother? And he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brother. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. So just like how Yahushua was in the middle of preaching, you know, and he's seeing his actual bloodline, his carnal family, you know, standing in the midst, and the people acknowledging his carnal family being there, but yet in front of everybody, what did he do? He did not reject his disciples, right? Because he said the same who do the will of the Heavenly Father is my mother, my sister, my brother. Because we all what I say, we're all in unison with the Holy Spirit of the Most High, and we're on the same accord to basically complete this mission to get to the kingdom.
Yeah, because we're doing the same thing YAHAWASHI did. I mean, I don't want to say lesser like it's, but what I'm saying is that because YAHAWASHI said that in Hebrews 2, right? He was made like unto his brother and like his brother, so that he can be a merciful and faithful high priest. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the elect are doing with those men. They're doing the same exact thing, offering up through sacrifices, bringing some type of help to the nation through the Spirit, and then ultimately what? Going to be persecuted. You know what I'm saying? Doing the same things that Yahushua did. That's why Yahushua said, servant is not greater than his master. All right. So the same things that Yahushua went through, though, we're gonna be in the times like Yahushua, you mentioned it earlier, we're gonna be in a position where we're gonna be having to pray heavy, man. Like we might have blood come out of our, bro. We're gonna be so stressed, man. It's gonna be because Jacob talked about it, but we don't really know how it's gonna go. So that's why the covering of the Lord, the mindset of the Lord is gonna have to be on you. Because Yahushua is Yahushua, bro. But he was stressed, bro, about what he had to conquer and what he had to take on. And we don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say too. He also knew that glory was going to
Exactly.
too.
Right. Exactly.
That right there was the motivation to
That's
go
it.
do that shit.
That's
like,
it.
You know what I'm saying? You know, just pull through.
That's it.
And that's the same mindset we should have.
Right.
We know what's on the other side as a reward, but it's really about the Lord's will, man.
Well, that goes to the Tawah, because the Tawah is a mark of exemption. The Tawah, when you go into it, it's the ones that's going to have the mindset of Yahushua. That's going to be delivered. That's what the why is, that mark of exemption, man. They have the same, they're aligned with Yahawah, Yahawashai, man. But this is like Matthew 19 and 27 says, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have therefore? Right, and that's a part of that sacrifice brother going into. We've given up all us, but talking about the apostles, man. 30 plus years, man, just seeing this world. You just said it, bro. You just said, like, within a decade or two, the world has changed drastically, bro. Dramatically, I should say. So the apostles and the men and their elders before them have seen a lot within the last 30, 40 years, bro.
That's crazy.
And so that mean that what? That's a lot of sacrificing that they had to do to actually stay in the spirit. We understand that it's the Lord's will, but it's a lot of sacrificing that was involved.
Bro, that's crazy. Watching decades change, bro.
Yeah. And it happened fast.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Bro, that's crazy. Of course the Lord is gonna bless the apostles.
That's it.
With that type of wisdom and information, bro. They lived through different decades that we was not alive.
It comes.
They're like living proof of history.
Yeah. That's a major evidence of faith. Being able to talk about some things that's nowhere near present, and then how you starting to see things come to present. That's a
they
faith.
talk about how they met different celebrities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One that I think about is Solanke, I can't remember. He was like a great trumpetist. I don't think
Dizzy Gillespie.
Yeah, yeah, before he died. Like a week before.
No. That was Miles Davis.
Miles Davis, that's what
Yeah.
Like a week before he died, bro. It's spiritual.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, bro, was spiritual to encounter men with that heavy spirit of the Lord upon them.
Right. So it says, then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and followed thee. What shall we have before you? Right? Because like Elder Mazazaba said, he said, like, bro, we just don't see it not happening for him, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because you sincerely giving up all, man. And we understand it's on the Lord's will, but like, bro, there's no way I can see myself getting judgment of an Edomite, man. Because I think it was RAWCHAA, one of the brothers at camp said, when the Lord see you, he's going to look at you as an Edomite, man. You know what I'm saying? That's a terrible feeling, man. It says, and Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye shall also sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, and every one that hath forsaken houses or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands. That means that's all that you possess.
Yeah.
For my name's sake, right? For his image, his reputation, his vibration, his essence.
Because you could be homeless for this truth.
Yeah.
What else it say? It said home. What
It said forsaken houses, brethren.
You could right, brother. You can have carnal family that you may have to forsake for this truth. What else it say?
Sisters.
And material things.
Yeah.
That's why I said houses.
Yep.
Like that's why the Lord, when you read that the 14th chapter, if I'm not mistaken, when the Lord was telling them to follow me, and they was all excuses like I got this land, Lord, I must go see. I got married, I got a crack, I got a kid.
Because the ones you had I forget one, and in one book it go deeper into it what it says name. But you had one that he healed that wanted to follow him, I believe. And he was like, the foxes have holes and the birds have nests, but the Son of Man have no place to lay his head. So even Yahushua was homeless to a degree, like he was going from house to house. And the scriptures talk about how that's like a miserable life.
Yeah.
Having to go to house, not knowing where your next place to lay your head is going to be. And we're being a pilgrim on earth, bro.
And a lot of Jake, they had a resentment because I'm gonna say, bro, my life was like that. Like growing up and shit like that in Atlanta. That's how my life was. Going to my sister house, this sister house, brother this house, cousin house, type shit like that. Bro, you'll goddamn, you know what I'm saying? You'll be resentful. But the spirit was always, I ain't trying to took my own words. Spirit was always with me. I never got mad at the Lord again. I never, even when I was calling him the JVS, I never cursed him, but then like, fuck you, God, like, you fuck my life. Well, I never did this shit. But a majority of our people, that's why the scripture said in the book of Malachi, first chapter, wherein has our love done? That's how they look towards God, like, you don't love me. And like the classic scene in Malcolm X. And then he said, you know, you have a friend in Jesus. That nigga Malcolm X started going, damn, man. And then, where the hell love me, Chappie? Where the hell love me? What the hell did to me, Chappie? You remember that part? Bro, he started going crazy on that nigga. And he was like, you know what a friend you have in Jesus? And he gave him a single friend. So that's the mind frame that 2/3 of our people towards Heavenly Father and His Son. That's how they feel.
Yeah, that's why they say they gonna basically, like, I believe RAWCHAA grabbed it, John 16:2, or he quoted it.
Yeah,
That's why they're gonna think they're doing God's service, where they're really putting us to death. Where really the martyrs are doing God's service. So that's a stumbling block within itself. So even we're being stumbling blocks as far as, you know, the elect. Lord willing, we're those people.
Yeah, because the ones that's doing, if I can say, the ones that's doing the most high service are the ones that's a witness, right? Because we done to witness, it goes into testify and prophecy. It's all goes into the same thing. A martyr, those are the witnesses of YAHAWASHI. When what does a witness do? The witness gives their testimony against the one that committed the crime, which is why Esau is trying to put to death the witnesses. All right, because they're exposing him, and they're telling the people who committed the murder. So he has to take them out of the way. You see what I'm saying? So those are the ones that's actually doing the service of the Lord, man. All right, because why? They're actually testifying against the works of this world, which are evil, man. Okay, it says, continue. It says, and everyone that have forsaken houses or brother or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or lands for my name's sake shall receive an hundredfold and shall inherit everlasting life. And many that are first should be last, and last should be first. And that's the point. We look for we have no continual city. We see when it comes. You know what I'm saying? We're looking for that hundredfold, the first round trip, man. You know what I'm saying? A crown upon our heads, you know what I'm saying? For a hard fought battle, and us finishing the race, bro. All right, but again, we even know all these things because what we brought out earlier, according to the measures, which is prophecy, man. All right, the current events that's going on, all the things that's happening in the world. That's how we know that we're close. That's how we can speak like we can speak. You know what I'm saying? We speak the way we do because we're watching the things around us. We the ones that's on the watchtower telling the city. You know what I'm saying? The niggas is about to come in, man. You know what I'm saying? The watchmen have the first dibs on the view point of chaos or the sun rising or the sunset, man. You know what I'm saying? Joe that.
right. So yeah, you know, hey, with that, you know, we pray for that. I want to do all the praises.
See Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, HAQADASH.
I want to see the apostle and other great ones come through.
About the ball.